Hello, guys! Welcome back! Today we are gonna see a biography of the world's most famous and notorious criminal who was famous for his drug dealing and cigarette smuggling. You probably might have seen the thumbnail and already realized who we are gonna talk about. For those of you who don't know who he is, his name is Pablo Escobar. Now, without any delay, let's get started. Pablo Escobar. In full, Pablo Emilio Escobar Gaviria, born on the 1st of December in 1949 in a little-known city called Rio Negro in Colombia, was a world's famous criminal who, as head of the Medellin cartel, was arguably the world's most powerful drug trafficker in the 1980s and early 90s. Perhaps he was very famous because he was first of his kind. Pablo was ranked among the 10 richest men in the world for 7 straight years from 1987 to 1993. What is surprising is that Pablo never worked for the money. Some historians tell that he was in it because of his thirst for power and luxury, and that Pablo never minded when sometimes he lost hordes of money to other rival cartels or the government officials. But some other historians sing another song about him. While still a teenager, he began a life of crime. His early illegal activities included smuggling stereo equipment and stealing tombstones to resell. Though this seems like a petty activity, it was what drew Pablo closer to a criminal life. Pablo felt that these petty crimes were not enough to lead a luxurious life of his wants and wanted something more. As the cocaine industry grew in Colombia, thanks in part to its proximity to Peru, Ecuador, and Bolivia, which are major growers of coca from which cocaine is derived, began producing excess amounts of cocaine, which needed distribution to other places. Thus, Escobar, who was already in the trade of selling stolen commodities, was attracted to this kind of easy money earned via smuggling drugs. Thus, he became involved in the world of drugs and smuggling them. In the mid 1970s, he helped establish the crime organization that later became known as the Medellin Cartel. By the mid 1980s, the Medellin Cartel dominated the whole cocaine trade, with Escobar wielding incredible power and wealth. According to some reports, he was worth approximately $25 billion, which supported a lavish lifestyle that included a 7,000-acre estate in Colombia where he housed giraffes, hippopotamuses, and camels, among other animals. He also funded various projects to aid the poor, earning him comparisons to the fantasy character Robin Hood. That perception helped Escobar win the elections to an alternate seat in the country's Congress in 1982. During that time, it is said that Pablo was in his prime and was seen as an unwinnable opponent to his enemies. Every single thing that Pablo did drew him closer to the criminal world and farther away from a common man's life. His philanthropic works were offset by his well-known ruthlessness. He handled most of his problems with plata or plomo, meaning silver or lead, which in our common man terms is language for accept and pay me bribes or stand in my way and get payment in bullets. In addition to rivaling drug traffickers, notably in Cali cartel, his victims included government officials, policemen, and civilians. In 1989, the cartel reportedly placed a bomb aboard an airplane in an attempt to kill an alleged informant. More than 100 people were killed in the terrible so-called quote-unquote accident. Even though there was quite a lot of evidence that Pablo did these kind of deeds, he was pretty famous and powerful. We'll be seeing how powerful he was in a minute. The threats of extradition to the United States, which as the destination of most of the cartel's drugs, had come to view Escobar as a primary target in its war on drugs, drew even greater retaliation from Escobar, who reportedly said that he would rather have a grave in Colombia than a jail cell in the US. Amid the growing bloodshed, a massive manhunt was undertaken to find Escobar, while the government also began negotiations for his surrender. In the June of 1991, on the same day that the Colombian Congress voted to forbid extradition in the country's new constitution, Escobar surrendered and was subsequently jailed. His imprisonment, however, had little effect on his criminal activities and his lifestyle. This was not at all surprising because rumor had it that most of the officials in the government were either bought off and those who retaliated were killed ruthlessly. Pablo was allowed to build a luxurious prison which became to be known as La Cathedral, which translates to the cathedral. It was said to be anything but a regular prison. This is because not only did the facility include a nightclub, a sauna, a waterfall, and a soccer field, this luxury prison also came with other facilities like telephones, computers, and fax machines, all of which are essential to run a militia from pretty much anywhere. In addition to this, Colombian officials were not allowed within a 3-mile radius to this building as this was controlled and run by Pablo himself. His militia were always on guard and were ordered to shoot anyone and everyone who seemed like a threat to Pablo's safety. However, after Escobar tortured and killed 2 cartel members at La Catedral, officials decided to move him to a less accommodating prison. Before he could be transferred, Escobar escaped custody in the July of 1992. Again, rumor has it that this escape was a part of much bigger plan either by the government or Pablo himself, and was staged in such a way so that Pablo was neither harmed nor faced the threat of getting caught again. After escaping from the custody of Colombian officials, Escobar and his family unsuccessfully sought asylum in Germany and eventually found refuge in a Bogota hotel. Escobar himself was not so lucky. Colombian law enforcement finally caught up to the fugitive Escobar on December 2, 1993, in a middle-class neighborhood in Medellin. A firefight ensued, and as Escobar tried to escape across a series of rooftops, he and his bodyguard were shot and killed. Escobar's death accelerated the demise of the Medellin cartel and Colombia's central role in the cocaine trade. His end was celebrated by the country's government and other parts of the world. His family was placed under police protection. Still, many Colombians mourned his killing. More than 25,000 people turned out for Escobar's burial. He built houses and cared about the poor. One funeral girl stated at Escobar's funeral in a story reported by the New York Times. In the future, people will go to his tomb to pray the way they would to a saint, he said. Some people say that Escobar was shot down by the officials, and some speculate that he took his own life. Either way, Escobar was declared dead on the 2nd of December 1993. After he died, the Medellin was all but a body without a head, and it wasn't long before the notorious cartel collapsed. Before his death, Escobar controlled more than 80% of the cocaine being smuggled into the United States. More than 15 tons were reportedly smuggled each day, netting the Medellin cartel as much as $400 million a week. He is arguably the most well-documented drug lord of all time. No wonder that this man was so famous. Escobar's eventful life has been the inspiration of innumerable films, books, and TV shows. Most recently, Netflix's 2015 series Narcos. The blockbuster series follows Escobar's life through two American drug enforcement agents who assisted in his manhunt. Though critically acclaimed, the web series was criticized for distorting facts. In 2016, Escobar's brother Roberto threatened to sue Netflix for $1 billion over alleged misrepresentation. Before I finish, if you want to find out more about Pablo and learn some cool facts about him, make sure you watch our next video coming Sunday. Facts you didn't know about Pablo Escobar, the most famous drug lord of all time. So that's it for today, guys. If you liked this video, make sure you smash that like button and comment below in the comment section which stage of Pablo's life you like the most. For our subscribers, thank you for supporting us, and for the rest, make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on that bell icon for more videos and updates. See you guys next Sunday. Until then, take care, love you, and goodbye.